Welcome to vpod.ai. This deep dive is sponsored by Stonefly, your trusted solution provider and advisor in enterprise storage, backup disaster recovery, hyper-converged VMware, Hyper-V, Proxmox cluster, AI servers, SA365, that's a turnkey security appliance, plus public and private cloud solutions. You can find out more over at stonefly.com. So today we're diving into VEO from Google DeepMind. It's their cutting-edge video generation model. Our mission here is really to unpack what VEO is, get into its capabilities, and figure out why it's such a big deal in AI right now, especially for creators.
Absolutely. VEO really is state-of-the-art in generative video. And we're not just talking about one thing. There's VEO 3, the brand new model, and also some really exciting new creative tools for VEO 2, which is already pretty powerful.
VEO 3, let's start there. It sounds like the main push is towards, well, greater realism.
That's exactly it. VEO 3 is a significant jump in fidelity. We're talking 4K output now. But it's more than just pixels. It's about more realistic physics in the scenes and, crucially, generating audio that actually matches and enhances the visuals. It's moving towards video that feels incredibly real.
4K and realistic audio. That does sound like a game changer. Can you, give an example of how that realism shows up?
Sure. Think about a prompt like this. A medium shot frames an old sailie, knitted blue hat, thick gray beard, holding a pipe, gesturing towards a churning gray sea. VEO 3 doesn't just make that picture, it can also generate the sounds, the sea, maybe the ship creaking, the wind. You get a much more immersive feeling. That integrated audio is a really big step.
Wow, okay, yeah, I can picture that. And it's not just the look and sound, right? I heard VEO 3 is better at actually doing what you ask it to.
Exactly. They call it improved prompt adherence. Basically, it's getting better at understanding the details and nuances in your text instructions. So if you ask for, say, a wise old owl flying high, peeking through clouds, then diving down to sit next to a badger on a moonlit path, it can follow that sequence and understand the different elements involved.
It gets the narrative flow better. What about creative control? Sounds like VEO 3 gives creators more knobs to turn.
Definitely. There are new capabilities specifically for more control, better consistency across shots, and just enabling more creativity overall. Take a prompt like medium shot, historical adventure setting, warm lamplight, cluttered study, cartographer poring over an ancient map. VEO 3 can create that specific scene, that specific mood.
Interesting. Even down to quite specific, maybe even funny details. I think I saw something about a rubber duck detective.
Yes, that's a great example of the control. A detective interrogates a nervous rubber duck. "Where were you on the night of the bubble bath?" he quacks. And the prompt specifies the audio. Detective's stern quack, nervous squeaks. Being able to add those specific sounds, like the quacking, just opens up so many possibilities for storytelling, even humorous ones.
Okay, so it's versatile, but it handles serious, complex stuff too, like busy scenes.
Oh, absolutely. Consider something like close-up of spies exchanging info in a crowded train station, guards patrolling. "Microfilms in your ticket," murmured. "They're watching the north exit," she warned. "Use the service tunnel." Commuters rush past.
The ability to generate not just the visuals, but the whole soundscape, the announcements, the murmurs, the crowd noise alongside that visual narrative is really powerful.
And different styles. Can it do animation styles like stop motion?
It can. A prompt like camping, stop motion, camper. I'm one with nature now, bear. Nature would prefer some personal space.
Yeah.
Shows it can interpret and apply different visual styles based on the prompt. Okay, that's pretty flexible. The off-road rally example sounded intense too.
Yeah, that one, the scene explodes with the raw, visceral energy of a hardcore off-road rally. It really shows off VEO 3's ability to capture fast, dynamic action with lots of detail, both visual and auditory. Think roaring engines, mud splattering. Very immersive.
And what about that really complex one, the paper squares turning into origami? That sounds incredibly difficult to generate.
It does, yeah. Top-down shot. Thousands of small, colored paper squares simultaneously leap up, fold themselves in midair, transforming into origami figures, arranging into a larger pattern. The level of precision and, synchronized movement needed for something like that is quite something. Shows real progress in controlling complex transformations.
It seems it's also really good at setting a mood. That Irish cliff scene example felt quite evocative.
Exactly. Rural Ireland, circa 1860s, two women walk with determined strides across a windswept cliff top. VEO 3 can take that description and translate it into a scene that feels visually and emotionally right.
And combining artistic styles with stories, like that Japanese woodblock print example.
Right. Breathtaking, painterly 2D animated narrative, rendered like traditional Japanese woodblock prints. Follows a young girl befriending a colossal, gentle forest spirit. It shows you can potentially blend very specific art styles with narrative generation.
Some are just fun, though, like the candy keyboard.
Totally. A keyboard whose keys are made of different types of candy. Typing makes sweet, crunchy sounds. Audio, crunchy, sugary typing sounds. Delighted giggles. Shows how specific and imaginative the audio integration can be.
Or pure fantasy, like the moondust plane.
A snow-covered plain of iridescent moondust, 30-foot crystalline flowers bloom, refracting light. Yeah, it really unlocks the ability to visualize fantastical, otherworldly scenes.
Even something requiring nuance, like a musician performing.
Yes, the example. A woman, classical violinist with intense focus, plays a complex, rapid passage from Vivaldi. Audio. Bright, virtuosic violin playing, resonant hall acoustics. It can handle capturing the specifics of both the visual performance and the accompanying sound.
And even everyday things, like onions hitting a pan.
Close up, slow pan, diced onions hitting a scorching hot pan, instantly creating a dramatic sizzle. Audio. Distinct sizzle. It's about making even simple moments visually and sonically compelling.
Okay, so let's shift gears slightly. VEO V3 is designed for greater control. How exactly has that improved?
Well, a key area is following sequences of actions or scenes more accurately. This is, pretty fundamental for building longer, more coherent narratives.
Makes sense. Got an example of that sequential control?
Sure. A delicate feather on a fence post, wind lifts it, sends it dancing over rooftops, it floats, spins, finally caught in a spiderweb. VEO V3 is getting better at keeping track of that feather across the different stages of its journey.
Right, maintaining continuity.
Yeah.
And complex camera moves in detailed environments.
Yep, a fast-tracking shot through a futuristic city, buildings made from reflective organic chrome, camera zooms into robotic bee working inside. It can manage both the intricate setting and specific camera instructions within it.
Even something simple like a paper boat.
Exactly. A paper boat sets sail in a rain-filled gutter, navigates the current, voyages into a storm drain. It shows it can track an object through a sequence, even a simple one, reliably.
Now, I heard about a partnership with Darren Aronofsky's company, Primordial Soup. What's the focus there?
Yes. That collaboration is really about exploring how AI tools like VEO can be used not to replace, but to augment human creativity in filmmaking. Pushing the boundaries, seeing what new visual ideas become possible with AI assistance.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk about VEO V2 as well. It's not being replaced, right?
Yeah.
It's getting updates too, focused on control.
That's right. VEO V2 is getting some powerful new capabilities, again, really centered on giving creators more fine-grained control, consistency, and creative options.
Like reference-powered video. What's that about?
This is pretty cool. It lets you give VEO V2 reference images, maybe a specific scene layout, a character design, an object, and the model will generate video incorporating those visual elements, so you're guiding it more directly with visuals, not just text.
So if I have a picture of exactly the kind of origami cat I want.
Precisely. For that prompt. Rendered intricate origami style. A vibrant origami cat moves along the paper sidewalk. You show it the cat image, and the generated video will feature a cat that looks like your reference.
That sounds incredibly useful for keeping things consistent.
It really is. Same idea for the origami children at the bus stop example, or the origami school bus.
No.
Provide the reference image, get that style and those elements in the output.
And the match your style feature, is that similar?
Sort of, but broader. With Match Your Style, you upload a reference image that defines an overall aesthetic, maybe a painting style, a specific film look, and VEO V2 will generate the video trying to mimic that style.
Oh, wow. So you could aim for a specific artistic feel across the whole video.
Exactly. And then there's keep your characters consistent. This lets you use reference images of your characters to make sure they look the same from shot to shot, even if they're doing different things.
Like the cute monster examples, walking, dancing, swimming. It would look like the same monster each time.
That's the goal, yes. Using those reference images helps maintain that visual identity across different scenes.
And VEO V2 gets better camera controls too.
Yes, more direct control. The camera controls let you specify framing and movements like move back, zoom in, move up, move right, more like directing a virtual camera.
What about first and last frame? How does that work?
It's a clever way to handle transitions. You give it the starting image and the ending image, and VEO V2 generates the video sequence that smoothly morphs or transitions between them, like the example of a block of marble turning into a griffin sculpture.
And outpainting.
Yeah.
Sounds like extending the picture.
That's basically it. It lets you expand the video frame outwards beyond the original boundaries while trying to keep everything looking consistent and realistic. Good for changing aspect ratios or adding elements just off screen, like adding that man with a torch, or even removing things like that spaceship example.
And character controls sounds almost like motion capture.
Kind of. It allows you to animate characters using your own body movements, your facial expressions, even your voice. So you could, for instance, act out how you want that fluffy baby chick to move and talk while reading its book.
And finally, Motion Master, more movement control.
Yes, this one lets you define very precise paths for objects to follow within the video. So really granular control over how things move around in the scene.
Okay, so all these tools, VEO2 and VEO3, they're part of a platform called Flow.
That seems to be the idea. Flow is positioned as this creative platform where people can use Google DeepMind's best generative AI models, VEO included, to put together cinematic clips, scenes, maybe even full stories.
And how does VEO stack up against competitors?
Well, according to Google DeepMind, VEO has achieved state-of-the-art results. They mention head-to-head comparisons where human raters preferred VEO's output over other top video generation models.
It's important we touch on the safety and responsibility aspects, too. Google DeepMind seems keen to emphasize that.
They are, yeah. They talk a lot about building VEO responsibly. That means things like trying to block harmful requests and outputs, testing new features thoroughly for safety implications.
And they use synchronized for watermarking, right?
Yes. Synchronized is their tech for putting an invisible watermark on the AI-generated videos. The idea is to help people identify AI-generated content down the line.
Plus safety checks for things like privacy, copyright, bias.
Right. Trying to mitigate some of the inherent risks that come with training these huge models on vast amounts of data scraped from the internet.
But it's not perfect, right? There must be limitations still.
Oh, for sure. They mentioned specifically that generating natural, consistent spoken audio, especially for short bits of speech, is still an ongoing challenge. Getting the lip sync perfect, avoiding garbled or incoherent speech that's still actively being worked on.
Understandable. But even with limitations, people are starting to use it.
Yeah, developers and studios are exploring it. They mentioned Promise, which aims to be a Gen AI-first movie studio, looking at how tools like VEO and Gemini can fit into filmmaking.
And Volley, using it for game prototyping.
Yes, for prototyping visuals in a dungeon crawler game, specifically with AI characters, seeing how it can help visualize game elements.
And Fel.ai combining VEO with other AI tech.
Right, exploring how these different generative tools can work together, maybe creating new kinds of creative workflows.
So if listeners want to try VEO out, where can they find it?
Currently, access seems to be through platforms like Flow, Gemini, Google AI Studio, and also Vertex AI Studio for enterprise users.
And we should definitely acknowledge the team behind all this.
Absolutely. The DeepMind page gives credit to a large number of researchers and engineers involved in both VEO3 and VEO2. It's clearly a massive team effort involving infrastructure partners and others across Google.
Which all ties back to Google DeepMind's overall mission, doesn't it?
It does. Their stated mission is building AI responsibly to benefit humanity. VEO fits into their broader portfolio alongside projects like Gemma, Imagen for images, Lyria for audio, AlphaFold in science, SynthD for watermarking, WeatherNext. It's a wide range of AI research. They encourage people to check out their site for more.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now?
Well, VEO clearly represents a pretty major leap in AI video generation. It offers creative control that we haven't really seen before and has the potential to shake up quite a few industries.
Yeah, from photorealistic scenes that sound real to creating wild animated fantasies to genuinely useful tools for filmmakers and game devs, the range of possibilities VEO opens up seems, well, huge.
And it's encouraging, I think, to see the focus on responsible development with safety features and watermarking being built in from relatively early on. That's going to be crucial as this tech gets more powerful and widespread. Which brings us to a really interesting question for you to ponder. How do you think these AI video tools, like VEO, are going to reshape the creative world? How will it change the way we make and maybe even the way we watch visual content in the future?
Definitely something to think about. And if this deep dive got you interested, we really recommend checking out the Google DeepMind website. You can find more details on VEO, see some examples, and explore their other AI projects too. Who knows, maybe you'll find ways these advancements could connect with what you do.